Okay, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to Nightcap with Scone, a show that was born out of COVID when wasn't nobody doing nothing but sitting around and having a few cold pops. And so we said, hey, I got an idea. Let's fire up a live stream, have a pour, and we'll just talk about anything y'all are talking about for as long as y'all want to talk about it. So you know the drill. Fire away with any questions that you may have, comments. Excited to be here and glad you are as well. We did morning Scone today, and there's Nightcap. Why am I not seeing this from anywhere else? That's the concerning. Something's going on with my privacy on my Facebook. I'm trying to do the stream from my profile instead of my page, and it doesn't seem to want to agree with me. So in any event, all right. Y'all do me a favor and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, if you're there, like the Matt Moscona page and share the post and all that good stuff. Follow us. So we appreciate you for being there with us. All right. Busy day, by the way. So if you were here for this is really going to bother me, actually, the fact that I don't think anybody on Facebook can see this, because I have a Heather, you got any Blantons? I got plenty of Blantons, Heather. Erica, where was the fun? I'm calling Erica in here now. Where was when we were looking at it last night, the link I had to go to change? Was it settings and privacy?
Yeah.
Settings, language. Feed?
No. No, it was over on
here.
It was on the side.
Which one was it? View as, search, profile status, archive, story, activity log, profile, and tagging. There we go. Yeah. But I put it to everyone.
You had to uncheck those. We had to turn those two blue
I
on.
did. Everyone should be able to see this now. Go and see if you can see my live on Facebook, please, on your phone or on some other device. All right, let's get rolling. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Thanks for being there. My apologies. We'll get rolling. So let me know what you got in the glass as always. I'm going to open up this Heaven Hill Select stock. Very, very grateful to actually a morning Sconer who made the trip up to the Bourbon Trail and was very, very kind enough to score this, and I guess scored an extra and let me buy it from him. So fired up for that. Huh? Do you see it?
No, notifications over your page are on. Nobody knows.
Well, I was trying to share it. Well, how do you change that? I don't know. That stinks. I don't really like Facebook very much, but I'm trying to do something that might be actually beneficial. What? I got to get rolling on the show. I just want to have Facebook. We'll just be YouTube today, which is fine with me. All right. I mean, we're live on Facebook, but I was trying to share it to my page, but my page can't see the post for some reason, which is just weird. All right. That's the last time I'm going to say that, and we're going to move on and get rolling with the show and not worry so much about whether or not anyone can see this or whatever. Okay. All right, so LSU lands another transfer commitment today, a name that is familiar. Wofford pitcher Zach Cohen commits to LSU, visited LSU and posted on his Instagram that he'd committed, had pictures with his family here. Cohen's interesting. If you remember, we kind of got to know of Zach Cohen before the regional because he was their Friday night guy. He threw 110 innings this year, a 3.35 ERA, 124 strikeouts, 29 walks, something thereabouts. really good strikeout to walk ratio, strike thrower. And Jay Johnson raved about Zach Cohen before the regional. We all thought that we were going to see Gage jump Zach Cohen on that Friday of the regional. And as it turns out, they held Zach Cohen because he'd been used twice in their conference tournament, and they didn't feel good about bringing him back on short rest. So LSU didn't see Zach Cohen. But when they were leading in the 8th, he was getting ready. And then LSU tied the game, then obviously won it in the 9th. But he was getting warm in the bullpen to go potentially close that game. So Jay Johnson went from scouting Zach Cohen to playing again, to think he was going to play against him, to recruiting him, to then now coaching him. So I think one of the first comments I read as I kind of popped up here was, do we think Zach Cohen might be a Friday night guy for LSU? No, I don't think so. I think, look, you still got Chase Shores coming back off of Tommy John, and I think if Chase Shores is healthy, that's your Friday guy. And then you got Cade Anderson as well back for his sophomore year, who should factor into the rotation. And then you have Griffin Herring coming back, most likely. We'll see what happens with the draft. Herring will come back, and if he comes back, he's vying to be a starter. That's why he would come back. And then you bring in a guy like Zach Cohen. And then the other guy is Zach Root, who's a lefty from East Carolina. The two premier players in the portal right now are Gavin Killen, the shortstop from Louisville, who LSU is in the mix for. And I think you will, if LSU gets him, I think you'll know that early next week, but we'll see. And then Zach Root, who's a lefty, just finished up his freshman season at East Carolina. I think similarly, if LSU has good news, you'll probably expect something early next week. So, ooh. A lot of oak and leather, but syrupy as well, like an odd syrupy texture, long bold finish. That's very good. Heaven Hill Select Stock. I think this is for 100 proof. This is bold for 100 proof. Okay, let's say some good morning, or not good morning. Excuse me. Tremaine, what's up? Randall, what's going on? Damon, what's up? Jeremy, Cortland. Supposed to be next week, seeing thunder. Supposed to be what next week, Cortland? Jeremy, what up? Robbie, sure Matt has his pour for the night chosen, but I suggest EC18. I love Elijah Craig 18, Robbie. I think maybe I had that last week or 2 weeks ago whenever we did the show. I love Elijah Craig 18, some of my favorite pours. But I am having Heaven Hill Select Stock. If you weren't here in the open, mentioned it. A listener who may pop on here, and if he wants to be named, he can name himself, but went up to the Bourbon Trail and scored an extra bottle of that and was kind enough to sell me the extra one. So very cool of him. So, by the way, the other thing, Paul Mainieri, of course, we can talk about this, taking the South Carolina job. He gave an interview to Koki Riley over at The Advocate. Full disclosure, I did text Paul Mainieri to congratulate him, and I have not heard back yet. I can imagine he's been inundated. But Paul Mainieri said point blank to Koki Riley of The Advocate, like, he didn't think he was done coaching. The fire still burned. And I mean, I think we're probably at a point where we can all talk about this openly now because he's back in coaching. Like, that was a forced retirement. Paul Mainieri didn't want to leave. But I'll continue to say two things can be simultaneously true. Paul Mainieri did an amazing job at LSU for 15 years. He went to Omaha 5 times, won a national title, was a national runner-up, 6 consecutive years was a national seed. With that resume, anywhere else, they're building a statue, and you're the greatest coach in the history of their program. He just happens to be at the place where the greatest coach ever coached. And, you know, so I understand, like, expectations are greater and it was time. Those two things, they're not mutually exclusive. They can both be true. Mainieri had a great run and it was time, but that doesn't mean he was ready to be done. And the fact that he flirted with Notre Dame and Miami the last 2 years tells you that as well. But I mean, that's what it was. And so he had an opportunity to get back in the SEC. They're going to pay him $1 million a year. And Ray Tanner, who was a great coach in his own right, national championship winning coach, is the AD. Will give him the resources he needs, I presume, and we'll see how he does with it. Let's see. What's the Indiana State kid? Same first baseman you mentioned prior. No. So LSU has a commitment from what up, Marty Moonbeam? LSU has a commitment from Luis Hernandez. Hang on, I'll tell you right now. Hang on. So LSU has a commitment from Luis Hernandez, and he's a 50-50, maybe more like 60-40 coming to school. But Luis Hernandez, Indiana State, hit 360 last year, 23 bombs. First base catcher, DH. Think Travinsky. The other player that's in the portal from Indiana State is Randall Diaz, who is their shortstop. So as best as I can gather, if LSU does not get Gavin Killen from Louisville, then Randall Diaz would be their next choice at short, which likely tells you also that they're expecting Braswell to be picked and to sign. Chance, my son and I are in Galveston, a new portal addition. Today, Zach Cohen was the one. So, you've got by the way, we had a really good convo yesterday. If you missed it, with Chandler Dorsey, the South Florida reliever, had a really good convo with Chandler Dorsey. So they've got Dorsey, who likely comes in as your closer next year. He can touch 97. He was a closer this past year for South Florida. You got Zach Cohen, who likely is going to vie for a spot in the rotation. And then you've got Luis Hernandez committed there as well, who's going to be a power bat that likely can be that Hayden Travinsky role, right? Catch, first base, DH, that sort of player. Lance, what's going on, man? What's up, Scone? Do we need to worry about Paul Mainieri poaching any staffers or coaches to USC? No. And listen, I do think the Terry Rooney going with Mainieri, that hurts LSU. Because, Jay, it's kind of like what Saban was doing all those years, where he'd bring on really good, coaches to be analysts, right? And then whenever somebody left, he'd promote an analyst to an on-field job. That was kind of the thought there with Terry Rooney. Rooney is a great recruiter. He was a pitcher. Rooney was with Mainieri at Notre Dame and then followed Mainieri here and was here 07, 08. Then he became the head coach at Central Florida in 09. So Rooney missed the 09 championship. And then he was at Central Florida for a long time, bounced around. But Terry Rooney's a guy that would have been a full-time staffer if had somebody on this staff left. So, and he's a good coach, man. That one stings, but I don't think so. I think the more interesting thing is, do any of the current portal guys from LSU go to South Carolina? I'm going to tell you the one to keep an eye on is Paxton Kling. And I don't know if that's a great idea for Paxton Kling, but Paxton Kling to South Carolina is something that I could very much see happening. Gets him closer to home in Pennsylvania. And remember, Paul Mainieri puts a premium on defense. I've shared the example so many times with y'all, but remember Andrew Stevenson. Stevenson as a freshman hit like 189 and was the everyday center fielder because it was like having two dudes in center field. Same with Paxton Kling. He's an elite defender in the outfield. And, my guess is that Mainieri is going to look at Kling and say, I can bat that guy ninth, put him, eighth or ninth, put him in center. And if anything he gives me offensively is lanyap. Ethan Petrie tweeted essentially an affirmation that he's staying in Columbia at South Carolina. So, anyway, we shall see. I'm curious if anybody can see.
Turn on when you go live, and now you're showing up in mine. So I think I have to turn it on.
But I'm not seeing it either.
I just say that I wanted to see you live. Or I want to just be notified. I want you to opened up your current one, and there was like 3 dots, and I pressed those 3 dots, and it said like at the bottom said notify me when my Scone goes live.
Hmm.
And then I did that, and then I went to notifications and it said 8 minutes ago, so it showed up like the past.
Like it's.
I'll show you how to do it. You gotta-
I mean, this is from my page though. I don't know if it's going to work from the page. Let's see. Heather said, "You got any plans?" I do have plenty of plans back there. That's plans right there. I got some in the cabinet down there too. Dale, what's the deal with Keelan Moses? Nothing, Dale. I mean, listen, Keelan's taking a visit to A&M, and I suspect he will take his visits. And there's nothing wrong with a guy in high school who gets 5. Huh? Who gets? Did it pop up? Did you do it from my?
He's in the club and he's false.
You.
What? I gotta check.
Whatever. Facebook makes things very complicated. Anyway, no, I don't ever blame a kid who gets 5 all expense paid visits to a college to go see all the colleges that are out there and programs. And the other thing too, Dale, is in the transfer portal era, when there has never been less stability in college football, go explore your options. And if not for this year, for what could happen at some point down the road. So I have no problem with Keelan Moses or anybody taking all their visits. Joey B19, how big of an advantage is the portal game to not still be playing in the postseason? Obviously, a given would be rather still playing. Yeah, that's a very fair question, man, because I will tell you, well, first of all, it didn't hurt LSU last year, right? LSU won the national championship, and they still landed Gage Jump and Luke Holman. Braswell, I mean, we could say if that was a hit or not. I mean, Braswell played well this year, certainly in conference play, but you had a fine transfer class last year, despite playing, all the way through the College World Series. But I will also tell you that last week after LSU lost, Jay was in a different city like every day. It was like 5 cities in 6 days. Seeing players. So it definitely gives you that advantage. Cody, good evening. From Mainieri's comments, he seemed to imply Woodward pushed him to retire. Am I reading into things too much? No, you're not. I mean, it's odd. Cody, I think it's odd to me that, and listen, every time I'm going to talk about this, I have to throw these caveats. Like, I'm going to say the same thing I said 3 years ago when Paul Mainieri retired, that I think the world of Coach, both personally and professionally. I think he did a great job here. He deserves to be revered. I think at the end, he caught a lot of unnecessary flack from fans who didn't appreciate the time that the consistency he brought for 15 years. But I also understand that it was time for a new voice. And it was right. Jay Johnson won a championship in year 2. Like, it was time. And that's okay. But that also doesn't mean Paul Mainieri was ready to retire. And every single, and the quote he gave Cokie Riley in the article in the Advocate, he talked about the fire in his belly. Every opening day, Paul Mainieri, when he would go for his first press conference before opening day, he would sound like a little kid on opening day. Just awed by all of the majesty of opening day, all of what the thing that makes everybody wax poetic and romantic about baseball. That was Paul Mainieri, and it never left him. So I am not surprised at all, and especially considering he considered the Notre Dame and Miami jobs. So I did not think Paul Mainieri was going to play golf forever. It was really just a matter of what opportunity would come, and he got one in the SEC, and he took it. And I don't blame him at all. And I wish him well, except when he plays LSU. Trivia, what up? How Mavs are different at home. Their unis match the court. Connor, if Cohen is our Sunday guy, I like us. I agree. And what if Cohen's your midweek guy? Like, what if you end up going Shores, Anderson, Herring? Good. Dustin, speaking of Erica, definitely outkicked your coverage there. Thank you, Dustin. See, I think that's a compliment. It just means that you have many, many, many more things going for you. And that was at a point in my life when I was friggin' broke. I did have hair, though. A Gunner having Elijah Craig barrel proof tonight. Wishing it was football season. Still planning to use Perk inside. Don't understand why they don't use him like Micah Parsons. Well, the biggest difference, Gunner, is, and congratulations again on the nuptials. Here's the biggest difference. Micah Parsons is listed at 6'3.5", 245. Harold Perkins is 6'1", 220. So 2.5 inches and about 25 pounds. That's the difference. When you're taking on big offensive tackles, they're not the same. But yeah, they're talking about moving Perkins inside, and I think we'll see him there, and I think we'll see him on the edge, and I think we'll see him in the slot, and I think we're going to see him do a lot of different things in this defense. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Lane, I need a hat. Would love to get everybody a hat. My understanding is Terrio went and picked up another batch of hats yesterday, and unfortunately, the Tigers screwed it up for us, man. We were going to have a hat party for the Super Regionals, but they blew a lead in the ninth, man. But we will have a hat party soon to make sure everybody gets a Parish hat. So, we are brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. If you're there on YouTube, I do have Parish pinned in the YouTube chat. So if you need a roof repair replacement, we'd love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. All the info is scrolling on the bottom for Parish. This is our new venture. So commercial, residential repairs, replacements, Parish. There's the number right there. Same number as we had before and the website. Aaron, Tony, good evening. Zachary, evening. Was down in Lafitte Monday. Stumbled upon Discount Depot number 3 liquor store. Got a Bland's for $60. Okay. Any other recommendations? I'll be down that way. If they have Bland's, I would ask about the rest of the mash bill too. I would ask if they have Elmer T. Lee, if they have Rock Hill Farms, if they have Hancock Reserve. Those are the other in the mash bill too from Buffalo Trace. I would ask them if they have any of those. It's not Bland's. Joseph Scone, tell us about all your baseball insider tips. I think I got more you're holding out. I don't know, Joseph. I've had a really good run, man. I did give you the exact regional pairings for LSU. I have nailed everything in the portal. I guess he's joking because this morning I read a text on Morning Scone about what was the kid's name? It was the other Wofford pitcher. So the person who texted me, and I read the text live on Morning Scone, and that's my bad. I shouldn't have done it. I should have vetted it before I read it. I'll completely wear that. But person was right. LSU got a commitment from a Wofford pitcher. It was just the wrong Wofford pitcher. It was the tall freshman lefty. Anyway, that's what he's talking about. I'll wear it. I read the text on it. It's my fault. Like, I read the text. But by the way, the person who sent me that text is the same person that told me the exact pairing LSU had, that they'd be a 2 seed in Chapel Hill facing 3 seed Wofford, and they'd be paired with Tucson. So it's just my fault. I mean, I read the text. I'll wear it. I read the text. My fault. James Dean, what's going on? Cajun Y, when are you and Terry going to pick random blueberries again? Never. Richard Horner, Johnny Drum. Okay. Shelby, where's Musso when you need him? Randall, Dylan, little whistle pig. Yes, sir. Oh, I am really far behind on comments. Thomas, good evening. See, Ryan. I'm good with it, Ryan. It's my fault. I read the text on Morning Scone. I shouldn't have read it. I should have waited and vetted it. But there were other reports out there as well. Like, I Googled it, saw the reports. I was like, okay, went with it. And I shouldn't have. It's my fault. I'll own it. James Charles, what's your thoughts on Coach Jay saying baseball is becoming a year-by-year building team? He's right. It is. Because, like, in a pre-portal era, like, here's a good example, is Derek Mitchell. This guy who just signed with LSU as a freshman this year. He's a switch-hitting outfielder who they are very high on, very athletic, and has a really good future. By his third year, he may be an awesome college baseball player. But is he just going to sit and wait for 2 years? In a past era, yes. In this era, he doesn't have to. So he doesn't sniff the field as a freshman. He goes somewhere where he's going to play. And especially when you look next year and you go Jake Brown, Josh Pearson, Ashton Larson, where are you going to play? You know? I get it. All right, Stefan, see you, man. Shane, Matt, what position do you think JJ needs to nail in the portal? Shortstop. And again, Gavin Killen is the one guy who's the biggest name in the portal, and they're after him, but everybody is. But LSU may have an opportunity to make an in-person pitch coming very soon, if you catch my drift. And I would love to see him get another arm. Like, I'll put it to you this way. If they get Gavin Killen from Louisville, the shortstop, and if they get Zach Root, the lefty from East Carolina, everything else is laying out. You have a weekend arm, that's a lefty weekend arm, and you're starting shortstop. And then you've also already got Luis Hernandez, who's a power bat. You're going to have to sweat out the draft with him. They're assuming Blaze Priester, the JUCO signee, will be here, who might end up being your starting catcher. He's another guy that'd be catcher, DH, first base. So, and your outfield's set. But again, short and another pitcher. Ryan, what's up, dude? Mr. Big nearly came in ninth inning on Friday. Corey, what's your overall feeling about LSU football? Can they realistically make big improvements on defense, still be able to score enough to make a legit run? So, Corey, I think so. I think the offense has plenty of talent. You have a fourth-year quarterback and a great offensive line and a bunch of skill guys at receiver, tight end, and running back. Like, that has all the makings of being a really good offense as long as you protect the football, which I think they will. I don't think they're going to be the number one offense in college football like they were last year, but I think they'll be plenty good enough to beat anybody they play. The question is if the defense can be good enough such that when you go score 48 against Ole Miss, you don't lose 55-48. I mean, LSU's defense allowed an average of 48 points a game in their losses last year. Like, cut that number in half, give up 24, which ain't good. Ain't great, but it's dramatically better than you were last year. Give up that, and you got a shot to win every game you play. Mac, my son works in IT for LSU Athletics. Said Paul Mainieri was nice to everyone. Going to miss seeing him at the golf team's driving range. Paul Mainieri was great. I mean, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anybody that says anything. Now, listen, there are players that played for Paul Mainieri that will say some negative things. And I always compare coaches like teachers with respect to this. It's like, if you're a teacher and you teach for 40 years and you have a different crop of 100 students every year, and so you've taught thousands of students, like, you'll be able to find ones that didn't like you. They didn't like your style. They didn't like your approach. They thought you were mean to whatever. You clashed. Same with coaches. So you can find players who played for Paul Mainieri at LSU that will say negative things. He cut them, was hard on them, whatever. But the flip side of it is you'll find multiples more that will say the good things. And I'm in that number. I've had so many experiences with Paul, not just covering all 15 of his teams at LSU, but personal experiences away from baseball with him. And I've shared a lot of them, over the past couple of days. But he's a genuinely good man, and I wish him well. I do. Tiger Diver. TK, a lot of people freaking out about the portal. Jay is the best recruiter in the country. Here's the thing for those freaking out about the portal. I actually led AFR with this on Tuesday. So you've lost 9 guys in the portal. What have you lost? Like, let's look at what you've lost. It's almost like football. You lose 25, you gain 9, but your net is a positive because you lost a bunch of depth guys that weren't playing and you gain guys you're going to count on. That's essentially the exchange. And it's similar here. Cam Johnson and Aiden Moffitt are elite arm talents. Both guys should be pitching in professional ball right now. Both guys should have taken 7 figures and signed because of this reason. Because whenever you sign and you go into the minors, it doesn't matter if you walk 5 straight guys. The next time it's your turn to pitch, they're going to put you out there because the objective isn't to win minor league games. The objective is to get you ready to go play in the major leagues. In college, the objective is to win college baseball games. And yes, you want to develop guys for the pros and all that stuff, and that's a part of it. That's how you're going to get elite talents, development, and all that sort of stuff. But the reason 10,000 people go to LSU baseball games isn't to watch guys develop to go win at the next level. It's to watch the Tigers win. And that's the difference. So if you're Cam Johnson and Aiden Moffett and you can't throw strikes, it doesn't matter that you're 98 from the left side. You can't throw strikes, and you're not going to help the team win, so you don't pitch. That's why those guys generally, with few exceptions, should sign and go pro. It sucks to lose them, and I hope they don't go to an SEC team, find themselves, and then come back and beat you. But aside from that, I mean, Sam Dutton was a up 10, down 10 guy. I mean, Paxton Kling had become your 4th or 5th outfielder. And y'all know I think Paxton's great defensively. He was great. He is great defensively. He just didn't hit for this team. Zeb Ruddle didn't play. Austin Rolig didn't play. Derek Mitchell didn't play. Although I'm high on him and what he could be. You see what I mean? Like Micah Buckham didn't pitch. So what did you lose? You lost a bunch of guys, but what did you lose? You know, I think that's the way you kind of have to look at it. So that's just the nature of how college sports is going to be today. You're going to lose a lot of numbers. I mean, in the football portal, LSU lost 25 guys. They gained 9, but their net was a positive because you lost a bunch of depth pieces and guys didn't play. And you gained talented people that you cherry picked and you think are going to impact you this year on Saturdays. Saturday guy, Anderson on Sunday. Maybe. Anderson from the left side, man. Give him another year of development. Greg T, what's going on? Paused episode 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. My notification of Nightcap. There you go, babe. I love it, Greg. Thanks for being there, man. I think that's the Greg that I was FaceTiming with Saturday night when I ran into his buddies downtown. Bo, Texas fans talking like they're going to get Jay. Meanwhile, he's back to grinding the portal. So Jay Johnson was asked this week when he met with reporters if Texas reached out, and he said no. And that wasn't exactly true. Maybe how those calls come in give him plausible deniability, but Texas absolutely reached out. Texas kicked the tires on 4 coaches. And it's the coaches that you would call and make them tell you no. Schlossnagle at A&M and Chris Del Conte, who's the AD at A&M, was the AD at TCU, who hired Schlossnagle at TCU. So Schlossnagle, Vitello, Eric Bakich, who's the head coach at Clemson, who remember was at Michigan, who got Michigan into the championship series, and then Jay Johnson. And all 4 said no because there was no and I was even told Texas was offering $2.5 million a year. So Jay, after they won the national championship last year, got a 7-year deal worth $12.5 million, $12.55, which averaged out to $1.718 per year. Texas was offering $2.5. And they all said no because all of them are in a better situation now than Texas. So, I mean, 3 teams are in the College World Series, or 2 are in the College World Series. 1 was a national seed, and LSU won the national championship a year ago. So, I get Texas is going to shoot your shot and make them tell you no, but they all said no. And Jay's committed, and he's back out recruiting, and he's going to win more titles at LSU. But I'll tell you, file this away to the guy that was laughing about me earlier. Although I've been right on everything. I'll own it. I read a text on Morning Scone today before I vetted it. I should have vetted it. I didn't. I read the text. It's my fault. I didn't go breaking news on social media or right. But I shouldn't have read the text. My fault. I'm owning it. But the Oregon coach, Oregon baseball coach, Mark Wazakowski. That's what they're going to. They want to do a fire hire. They don't want to fire and have a long search, so they're doing the search. And so they would fire David Pierce and hire Wazakowski. Now, maybe after Wazakowski let his reliever walk in 4 straight guys on Saturday, maybe they were like, maybe not. But anyway, that was the name I was told would be next. Dustin Mainieri may have been a nice guy, but the dude has a lot of favorite teams, especially those higher bids, apparently. I don't know what that means. Aaron, Heather, James, Cade Woods, what happened to him? Never got healthy. Cade Woods with the Alabama transfer just never got healthy this year. Hopefully he's healthy next year. It'd be great to see him throw a little bit. Richard, seems like a lot of optimism right now with the Saints. I've been burned by the Saints the last 2 years. I thought after camp we'd win 11-plus games. What are the reasons it could be better? It's not going to be better, Richard. And if you were believing last year they were going to win 11 games, that's on you, brother. I spent all of last offseason looking at every single piece, both subjective and objective, from quarterback rankings, tier rankings, Vegas odds, power rankings, everything. And everything came back with Carr as at best mid-level quarterback, third-tier quarterback. The Saints is a 500 football team. Dennis Allen's one of the worst coaches in the league. And everybody called me a hater. I was just a hater. You're a hater. You hate Carr. You hate Allen. Hater. I was right. I'm not hating. I'm just being honest. And there's no reason to think it's going to be better until they get rid of Dennis Allen and Derek Carr, because those two in combination or individually are not winning anything. Sativa and a cappuccino. All right, Cameron. TK, Ronnie Duga. What up, Ronnie? Jesse, Brad. So Wicker's likely a bullpen guy, then transitioned to a starter by his junior year. So Brad, remember, Wicker is not the guy they got. Camden Wicker is not the guy they got. They got Zach Cohen is the guy they got from Wofford. GB said, bring back Scone and T. So GB actually had a conversation yesterday, literally yesterday. So the only way we'll do Scone and Tea again is if it's sponsored. I mean, it has to make sense if we're going to leave our families and do a show. It has to make sense for us to do that financially. Like, our time has to be worth something. And so it was a great deal we had at Oliver Twist, and we were glad to do that and would have done it forever. I don't need to bore you with all the details, but Oliver Twist put a pause on it, and so we stopped doing the show. But someone approached us literally yesterday about resuming Scone and Tea, and that may come back in the fall. So we'll keep you posted. Is the Smoke Laval statue done yet? Smoke does not deserve a statue. Let's see, Jesse, are you going to get Coach Mainieri on AFR? I mentioned a bit ago, I did text Coach yesterday. Just sort of like a congratulations and a thank you for everything and a good luck. And he hasn't replied yet, but I also understand that he's probably gotten 11 bajillion text messages in the last 48 hours. So when the dust settles a bit, I'll call him. And yes, I'm certain we'll get him on. Darren said, Matt, love the Wednesday night shows. Thank you, Darren. Appreciate you for being there. I'd appreciate it even more if y'all would give us a shout at Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. We got the web pinned in the YouTube chat, so y'all do me a solid. If you or someone you know needs a roof repair, replacement, we love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection, commercial, residential, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Dustin scored a bottle of 1792 Bottle and Bond. 1792 Bottle and Bond, which is the yellow label. I think they started that release in 2020 around COVID, and I drank a lot of 1792 Bottle and Bond during COVID. A lot. It's an excellent pour. That's 1792 Bottle and Bond is a case in point why I tell people all the time when they say, hey, what's a good $70, $80, $100 bottle that I could buy? I'm like, don't buy that. If you don't know, don't buy it. Because it won't matter. And you can find something for $35 or $40, like 1792 Bottle and Bond, that is a fantastic sipper. If Braswell doesn't go and you land the shortstop, do you move one to third? Cody, I think Braswell is going to go. I think Braswell is going to go. Remember, if he comes back, he loses his leverage. And I think LSU is going to be able to upgrade at the position. Braswell's bat was good in conference play, but defensively, he led the league in shorts. I need to check to see. I keep saying I need to check to see if he finished the season leading the league in errors. But he had a rough go defensively for a bulk of this season. So let's see. Let's see. Here we go. Braswell did lead the league. Braswell had 13 errors, which led the SEC this year. Dean Curley and Drew Culbertson each had 12. So Braswell did lead the SEC with 13 errors. So, I mean, you led the league in errors, man. Let's see. Kling would be a massive offensive drop-off from the previous center fielder in Columbia. I get it. Doesn't matter, Cortland. Different coach. Paul Mainieri values defense. Remember, there was a point at LSU where he had 3 center fielders in his outfield when he had Mark Laird, Andrew Stevenson, and Jake Fraley. He had 3 center fielders in the outfield. He wanted a premium defensive outfield, and that would not surprise. I'm just telling you. Say what you want. You got laughed at me, but then just come back if that happens. Let's see. Shelby, did you bring the shoes home that Michael gave you? Did not. They're up in my office at work, and I'm gonna put them on the set each day. So big shout out to Michael Anderson and my friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. They had some custom Jordans made for me. Michael Anderson did the customs, and Sunshine commissioned them, and they gave them to me yesterday on air, which were awesome. I need to take some pictures of them and post the pictures or video of them, but they're awesome. Let's see. Is Coach Jay waiting on guys in the College World Series to hit the portal? Not that I'm aware of, Jude. It's not to say if a player goes into the portal, they won't go after him, but sometimes it's like the bird in hand, right? I know we had this conversation last year. So last year they took Michael Braswell early. This guy had SEC experience. They saw upside, good athlete. It's shown at times he could hit. So they take Braswell. Later, Luke Hill went in the portal. And I don't care what anybody says. Luke Hill's from Baton Rouge, and he wanted to come to LSU. Luke Hill went with Todd Graves to the College World Series last year in Omaha. As a player at Arizona State, he went as an LSU fan at the College World Series. He wanted to come to LSU. But LSU had already taken Braswell. So here's the conundrum for coaches in this era. So you take a guy, and then a better guy gets in the portal. What do you say to your first guy? Sorry. Well, okay, you do that. Then now every coach can negative recruit you every time you go after a guy. Next year, you and another school are going after. Why would you go to him? Because if you go there, as soon as someone better hits the portal, he's gonna dump you. Can't do it. So it's the bird in hand effect. It just so happens that like this year with Gavin Killen from Louisville, he's the best player in the portal, and LSU is very much in the mix for him. I hope they get him. I don't know if they can close. Jay's the best at it. We'll see. But the two guys, I'm telling you, if they get Gavin Killen from Louisville and Zach Root from East Carolina, those would be the two best players in the portal, and everything else would feel like lanyap. Jeremy said you're not live on Facebook. Didn't get a notification that you went live, only a text message from YouTube. So, Jeremy, I am live on Facebook. I'm just live on my Facebook profile, not my page. It's a long story, but effectively, the way Facebook handles their monetization is different for pages versus profiles. And so I'm on my Matt Moscona profile, not my page. So if you go to my look, I'll show you. It's this. It's that. Me and Erica in New York is the photo there, and you can see like I'm live. So the problem is I was trying to share this. Let me see if that helps. Maybe if I share it. I don't know if I just shared it to everybody. Like, I was trying to share that feed to my page. So everybody who follows my page, I know this is confusing, would see that. But whenever I go to my page and search for my profile, it doesn't come up. And I don't know why. That's really annoying. I probably have some privacy setting to where it's not letting it show up, which is very, very, very annoying to me. Brad, what's up? Cody, good evening. Is Jay in on Gavin Cash, the first baseman at Texas Tech? I have not heard that they are, Cody. Again, I think, you've got Luis Hernandez committed, who again is let's call it a 60-40. He shows up at school, 40% he signs. But a guy who, 360 last year at Indiana State with 23 bombs. He's a first base catcher, DH guy. And then you got Blaze Priester as well, who can catch DH, probably play some first also. And another one to watch out of the freshman class is Aaron Beatty. Jacob Aaron Beatty. What's his name? Is it Cade Aaron Beatty? So Cade Aaron Beatty is so it's ARRAMBIDE. Cade Aaron Beatty. He's one of the top catchers in the country in this class. Big kid, 6'3", 210, out of Tomball, which is the Houston area. He's a catcher, third baseman, but he's a catcher at this level, and he can hit. So that's another guy that you're hoping passes on the draft and shows up on campus, because if he does, that's a really big get for Jay Johnson. And that would help that whole process. Again, they could platoon a catcher and get guys rest and play a lot of guys and hit and all that sort of stuff. And with the portal and NIL, how much time does that leave head coaches to coach? How much are they involved with day-to-day coaching, game plan, especially football and baseball? Well, football, especially at major programs, man, got so many resources. Like, you have a GM, you have, recruiting coordinators, you have recruiting support staff that are constantly looking at the portal, that are putting together recruiting decks and pitches and events and all that sort of stuff. So, you have resources to make sure the head coach isn't the one doing the whole thing. The interesting thing with Paul Mainieri is Paul wasn't the recruiter, man. Like, Nolan Cain recruited for Paul. And before that, it was Andy who recruited. And before that, it was Terry Rooney. Like, Paul's not the recruiter. He would see guys when they get to campus. He's not the guy going to the showcase events and all that stuff. Nolan Cain did that. So it's interesting, going up to South Carolina, like, he needs someone like Terry Rooney. Trey Day, just for my own peace of mind, you do know that Brian Dennehy Stadium is Alabama's home football field, and Brian Dennehy is the actor that played Tommy's father in Tom. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. One is like, it's the hyphenated name of the former coach and the former president of the university, and the other is an actor. I get it. Yeah. Brian Dennehy Stadium. It is, Trey, it is astonishing to me. I am quite literal, for someone who is so grammar centric and so grammar focused. Like, you know this. I have a problem. I have a disease where I can't see something misspelled or hear somebody mispronounce a word or use improper context without pointing it out. Like, I literally, in the most literal sense of the word, I literally, on my blind date with my now wife, told her on our blind date how much it bothered me when people misuse the word irony. Do you honestly think I don't know the name of the stadium? And it astonishes me how many LSU fans don't understand that I'm about to curse. So if a cursing offends you, 3, 2, 1. That I am fucking with Alabama fans hard when I do that. And so many of you do not get it. Yes, I know the name of the stadium. Yes, I do. And I am fucking with Alabama fans. So shut up. Let me have my fun. Why is it that so many of you do not get that? I cover sports, for God's sakes. As a college student, I went to every single LSU football game for 4 years, home and away. Do you honestly think I don't know the name of the damn stadium? I'm just stunned by the number of people that don't get it. It's not everybody. I would say 99% of people get it. But the 1% is still 1% too many. Anyway. Christopher Fry, my guy, thanks for giving us up-to-date news and good views. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for being there. My cranium is too huge for the snap hats. Hopeful Libertarian took it to last night for your Bama's Burning AFR episode to show up my suggested videos. There are a ton. Okay, not a ton. That was hyperbole. There are a lot of Bama is burning videos by this point. Joseph Lee, not joking. Feel like you know who else is committing next. So Joseph Lee, I don't know who's committing next, but I do know who they're after, who they're competing with for those players. And I've told you as much as I can possibly say. Gavin Killen, Zach Root. They get those two guys, do backflips because you got probably the two best guys in the portal. You got a weekend arm from the left side, and you got the best overall player. Like Gavin Killen right now is the number 17 overall prospect in the draft for 2025. Like, get those two guys, and we can all take a big exhale next week. And I'm talking like if they get them, you will probably know early next week. You get my drift? You get my drift? Good question, Eric. If you can only pick one, retain Cam Johnson or acquire Zach Cohen. Retain Cam. Upside. And I don't know that Cohen is an SEC caliber pitcher. We did this on AFR today. And here's like my one legit, and he may be awesome. Like, it may come to pass that Cam Johnson never figures it out and Zach Cohen becomes a stud for you next year. And I would love that. Not for Cam, but for Zach, for LSU. But here's the fair point. So Zach Cohen, 110 innings pitched, 124 strikeouts, 29 walks. Really, really good year. Friday night guy for Wofford in the SoCon. Here's the problem. These are the teams he pitched against. Bucknell, Fairleigh Dickinson, Fordham, Lafayette, Charleston, Citadel, VMI, Greensboro, FIU, Mercer, Western Carolina, Gardner-Webb, ETSU, Samford, the Citadel, Samford again, Long Island. Not one Power 5 opponent. I have no idea what he'll look like when he tries to throw against the SEC. Cade Anderson looked like, I would say Randy Johnson. I was thinking of a good left-handed pitcher, not Randy Johnson, but Cade Anderson looked awesome in the pre-conference in the midweek. Yeah. And then whenever he got into conference play, he couldn't get SEC hitters out. So I don't know what Zach Cohen is going to look like against SEC hitters. I hope he's awesome, but I don't know. It's an unknown. All right. I'll be right back. Okay. Why don't they give Guidry a shot at shortstop? Hasn't played there in 2 years, hasn't taken a competitive at bat in 2 years. And the guy you're going after in the portal is literally the best guy in the portal, is literally the best player in the portal. So, but I'll tell you this. I had a major league scout tell me that he would offer Gavin Guidry six figures, low six figures, but six figures this year to sign as a shortstop. Because even though he hasn't played it in college, saw him do it in high school, and you draft on potential, you draft prospects, and says he'd give him a shot in the minors to go play. Smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Robert Potts, Matt. People strive in baseball, recruiting battles in Louisiana with Mainieri in South Carolina, like Saban and Miles for years. Maybe, Robert, but man, it's not really apples to apples. Nick was a better coach than Les. That's not even debatable. Alabama had a ton of tradition. I'm not saying South Carolina doesn't. But, man, in this state in baseball, it's really hard to get the blue chip guys to leave, man. Just rare that it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's rare. Because all these kids grow up wanting to play for LSU, man. We have to make sure freshmen get action to keep them invested. So, Triple D. That's one of the problems LSU had this year, is they did. So I'm not talking about the guys leaving. I mean, one of the problems LSU had on the field early this year was that Jay, it would have been better for, here's a perfect example for you. I'm going to give you the best example. For LSU football, for LSU baseball in 2024, this team would have benefited more from Will Helmers getting more innings, clearly, right? But when you have Cam Johnson, are you going to give it to the senior who probably doesn't have a baseball future, or the freshman lefty who throws 98 that you need to get innings? Who are you going to put on the mound? One has great upside. One probably helps you more now, but one has more upside. That's the difference in college baseball right now. D. Rocky, what's good? Lane. Oh, sorry, read that one. Bo. That's what midweek matchups are for. You got guys who can't find the zone, leave. I'm in Birmingham, so it's Christopher Fry, talent-wise, compared to the last 5 years, where do you see the squad in comparison? Incomplete, man. Don't know. I got to see how they finish the portal. They're not done. I mean, if they go get Root and Killen, you're right back in the mix. Greg T, who plays third. Wouldn't be surprised if they got a third baseman out of the portal. I think you have a real, again, depending on who you get, a real scenario where like Milam and Kucherak could be involved and either could play one spot if you get Killen at short. Now, if you don't get Killen at short, now you're in a little bit of a pickle because you need to go get another infielder. Matt, thoughts on Woodford Reserve Double Oak? It's a good pour, Chip. I'll tell you, my brother-in-law loves Woodford Double Oak. It's like that's his go-to all the time. Not my favorite. I just don't love Woodford. Little too oaky for me, but it's a really good pour that's very popular. Just everybody's got different tastes. LSU, look out for the LSU Terriers next year. Damon, younger brother, has Down syndrome, went to the National Special Olympics. Very cool. Got to throw out a pitch on Friday. After the game, Paul Mainieri found us, took the whole family for a tour. Great man. That's awesome. Glad to hear that, Damon. Paul's a great dude, man. He really is a great man. I mean, I've told y'all stories before, but like, I've been to charity events with Paul where, I mean, he's there early and stays to the very end, where a lot of charity events, the dignitaries come late, leave early, and they come in the side door, say their hellos, and escape out the side door to get out of there as soon as they can. Not Paul and Karen. They're there. You know, last time I saw Coach I was having lunch at Phil's. He and Karen were just sitting in a booth to the side having lunch, went up, gave him a hug, chatted for a little bit. Talked to him for a long time at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, did a Night of Champions a couple months back where they had Skip, Paul, Jay, Mike Bianco, that was when Roger Clemens was down, Clemens, and then Dylan Cruz, Ben McDonald, and I moderated the panel on stage. Got to talk to Coach for a good while there. We had dinner. I bid on an auction, a live auction of item. It was dinner with Coach and Karen this was like a wine dinner for like 10 with Coach and Karen. So my dad came. I got to bring my dad, my brother who went to Notre Dame, who's in South Bend when Mainieri was the head coach at Notre Dame. My godparents who were LSU baseball fanatics. My little nephew Eli, who's 13, about to be 14, and big baseball kid. His dad James came. I mean, we had an awesome night. You know, it was so gracious and told stories all night and had a great meal. Just, you know, I just think the world of the man, and he's a great baseball coach who won a ton here. It's just that he was at a place where the expectation isn't get to Omaha, it's win in Omaha. And it's never been harder to do that than it is now. And that dude was so consistent, got you there 5 times, won one of them, runner up another time. I mean, my God, look at guys like, you know, blanket, Mike, Mike Martin, Florida State. I mean, has anybody had more CWS appearances in Florida State? They've never won it. I mean, it's hard to win when you get there. But anyway. Let's see, Gulf South. Since Mr. 19-1 when hitting leadoff is transferring, how will LSU be able to replace a legend like that when they play Directional State U next season? Sorry, I had to mess with you on that. No, Gulf South, look, man, and I've told you that, listen, I have been spot on. Oh, God, I'm 30 minutes behind on comments. Oh, my God. Sorry, y'all. I have told y'all, like, point blank, what everybody on this roster was likely to do. Told you Cam Johnson was a transfer risk. Told you Kling. Told you Herring is a draft risk. And I'm telling you they ain't done because Brady Neal is the next one that has a decision to make. And Brady Neal may not be. We'll see. He may be. But I'm telling you, there is a really good chance Brady Neal ain't back next year. Now we'll see what he decides. I'm not telling you he's leaving. But I told y'all Paxton Kling was going to leave. And it's the right thing for him to do. Now, the thing I've heard is that he's likely, as Mainieri's talking to him about going to South Carolina. And that fits the profile of what Mainieri wants. He wants speedy outfielders that are dominant, man. That are dominant defenders. And he'll get his offense other places in his lineup. If you have, he will exchange a bat for an elite glove at a premium position. Catcher, short, center field. You put Paxton Kling in center, one of the best defensive center fielders in the country. He'll let him hit 220. And by the way, Gulf South LSU lost their last game of the year when Kling wasn't in the lineup, by the way. You can be upset with numbers if you want. I don't make the rules. Jesse said, Matt, does Parish go to Picayune? We absolutely can. Let me know what you got, Jesse. How many LSU transfers end up at SC? Kling is the one I've heard that is maybe the most interesting, maybe the most landing spot there. If anyone has thoughts we can win 10 games with Carr, they really don't understand football. Well, they won 9 games with Carr last year. And quite honestly, I don't know how they gagged away the Green Bay game. So it probably should have been a 10. But last year's team probably should have gotten to 11. But Carr's not any good. Neither is Dennis Allen. Peter, any shot an episode of Ask E-Rock After Dark? I could ask her. So tomorrow we're actually, I'm not on air tomorrow, y'all. What up, yeah, boy, Chase? I can ask her. Like, we're actually leaving tomorrow to go to Drew S. Cardiology on Friday morning. So we used to go to Houston. Now the cardiologist is in Orlando, but he does his medical system does he does clinic one day a month in Pensacola. And so Drew sees him every 6 months. And so whatever day on that 6 month that the doctor is in clinic, that's when we go. It just happens to be a Friday this year. So it's way convenient if it's a Monday, because then we could drive on a Sunday, get the first appointment on Monday, and then when we're done with the first appointment, we can drive back. This is one where we have to go for the appointment on a Friday, and we're not going to leave home at get Drew up and leave at 5 a.m. on Friday. So we're going to leave tomorrow, drive to Florida, stay the night, go to the appointment on Friday, and then drive home. So that's why I'm going to miss shows the next 2 days. So anyway, my point is to that, Peter, is she may be up for it. I mean, we don't have to get up and run out of the house or anything for work. So let's see. Clint, even Matt, didn't LSU get a pitcher from South Florida? They did. Why can I not remember the kid's name? And I even had him on the show yesterday. He was fantastic. A Christmas birthday. He's a Christmas baby. Chandler Dorsey. I know it's Chandler. I can't ever remember his last name. I can't remember, Chandler Glenn Dorsey. Chandler being Glenn Dorsey. There's my mnemonic device. So Chandler Dorsey. And 97 from the right side. He was their closer this year. 8 saves, 26 appearances, and likely will be LSU's closer next year. Wofford just got their poverty team destroyed. Neil hit worse than Kling in the SEC. Uncle Scone, do your morning streams later in the morning so I can watch live. So I usually do them, man, around whenever I would have to get Drew up and get him to school. So that's why I do it from 7:30 to 8 Central Time. Kyrie Diggs, what up, man? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good evening. Let's see. I'm not saying Paul wouldn't want Kling. I was talking to someone this week about Paul using 3 center fielders, 3 shortstops to put a premium speed in defense. Yes, that's what he does, man. That's what he does. He recruits a bunch of shortstops and puts them all over the field, and a bunch of center fielders and puts them all over the outfield. Caleb, JT had 17 errors last year. But you're also talking about through postseason, and that was a problem. But we'd also seen Jordan Thompson be elite defensively. So there's a big difference when you hadn't seen Braswell at that peak. All right, Juan, got a little Blanton's gold. There you go, my dude. Stephen Robeek, what up? Got a little store pick of 1792 bottle and bond last week in Texas. The work crew almost killed it. Eric, did Jordan Thompson lead the league? Yeah, but again, so I just answered that. Yes. Jordan Thompson was also this goes to show you the difference when you have range, arm talent, speed. Jordan Thompson, so JT went around 15 to the Dodgers. But I know the money he got, and he got top 10 round money. Let's see. Travis Roy plans on any plans in the work to do a game point update or AMA. I love that, Travis. I would love to do an AMA. Probably whenever we have more to say, but I'll also tell you one thing that's precluded that for a while was, if you remember, something we talked about a while ago was the SEC fiasco that went through, not the Southeastern Conference, Securities and Exchange Commission. If you missed that update, I don't know, 6 months ago, whenever they put that out there, that precluded everybody from saying anything. I mean, the SEC is just cracking down on crypto. And so they did a full deep investigation into GameCoin, and they came back and were like, y'all are good. Go ahead. But it precluded anybody from saying anything publicly for a long time, which is why there was a lot of radio silence for a while. But I would love to do something like that again. Let's see. Lance, if I search your name on Facebook, just your page shows up. I mean, I have a privacy setting somewhere that I need to fix, and I don't know what it is, but that's the problem clearly that I'm having. I mean, would it be profile and tagging settings? Who can who can post on your profile? I have only me, but that just means other people can't. But who can see what others post on your profile? Everyone. I don't know what's up with that, man. Visibility. Who can see your posts? Public. Weird. I don't get it, man. I mean, there's some setting I have on this page because just to tell you very candidly, so for a long time I only had my personal profile. And then got to the point where you could only have 5,000 friends. So that's why I started a page. My page now has 18,000 followers on it. And thank you for that. But the weird thing is Facebook does monetize, but they monetize through your profile, not through your page on live videos. So when I do live videos and we get thousands of views, I don't get Facebook gets all the money. I don't get anything. So I was like, well, I'll just start going live on my profile instead of my page. Well, I'm live right now on the profile, but nobody can see it. So I have some settings somewhere where people, let's see, profile transparency. Hold on. I'll have to figure it out later. It's so weird though. I don't know why this is happening, and I'm super bummed about it, but whatever. Okay. Taylor, who are some of the other transfer players you think LSU will go after this offseason? Told you already. The two biggest names are Gavin Killen, the shortstop from Louisville, and Zach Root, left-handed pitcher from East Carolina. If they miss on Gavin Killen, the shortstop from Indiana State, whose name is Randall Diaz, is the other guy they'd go after. Hit 360, 18 homers, 55 RBIs, 15 doubles, and a 106.9 OPS. That would be the guy that they go after if they don't get Gavin Killen, but fingers crossed and knock on wood and all that stuff. Who said Texas is a better program than A&M? I wouldn't say that now. Johnny Mango, R.I.P. Maravich. Yeah, man, so sad to see that about Josh Maravich. And y'all, I spent some time last night looking. I have pictures. So in 2009, LSU did a 100-year of LSU basketball, century of Tiger basketball anniversary game. LSU played Arkansas. Then after the game, they invited all these former LSU basketball players to come do a pickup game, essentially. And Josh Maravich played in it. And he wore his dad's number, and he wore the floppy socks as well. And I have pictures of it somewhere, and I'm sure it's on a thumb drive, and I looked for it a long time last night and couldn't find it. Taylor, how good do you think these pitches are? Can you give a comp how you see both them playing out? Well, I think Chandler Dorsey is your closer next year. He did tell me yesterday on AFR that he'd like to have the opportunity to come in and be a starter. So I think you give him that opportunity. We'll see if he can extend it. If not, he's your closer. Big, strong arm righty. Reminds me probably a lot of Eric Raiselman. Remember, he came in from the University of San Francisco throwing 97, 98, back of the bullpen guy. That's what that feels like. Now, Zach Cohen is 5'11", but he can extend, and he's an innings eater, is what he is. So he's probably a Sunday guy or a long middle relief guy if he doesn't win a job in the rotation that eats a bunch of innings for you. That's probably his role next year. Eugene, greetings and Houdat from Philly. Learn of Juwan Johnson's injury, so it begins. You know what, Eugene? Honestly, man, I would keep saying this. Given Clint Kubiak's history with tight ends, Juwan Johnson and Taysom Hill don't fit that mold. He, in his offenses, has used a prototype tight end. So, like, Foster Moreau is a prototype tight end. Johnson and Taysom Hill are not. Like, the guy Dallin Holker, the undrafted free agent they signed, fits more the bill. So I'm be curious to see how they would even use Juwan Johnson in this offense. Jason said Brady Neal, Griffin Herring will 1,000% be back. Okay. I think with Griffin Herring, it's a 50-50 proposition because of the draft. Herring is a reliever, and relievers top out at about $500K in the draft. So does someone call him in round 4 and offer him $500,000 to 4 or 5, offer him $500,000? Maybe, and if he does and he takes it, he's gone. I think the more likely scenario is Herring comes back, competes to be a starter because he still has a year of leverage. And if he wins a starting job, then potentially, multiplies that number. Neil, Jason, I mean, brother, I had a really candid convo today. I don't think it's any certainty that Brady Neal is back. I don't know why you're saying he's 1,000% back, but that ain't the conversation I had today, bro. And even still, I mean, you got to sweat out Aaron Beatty in the draft, your freshman signee. You got Blaze Priester coming in, who could always sign as well. Man, Hernandez, who you just got yesterday out of the portal, he's also potential draft risk. I'm here to tell you, man, like, I'd probably get a true catcher anyway, a small school catcher who could be hey, go catch in the midweek, give my guy a break. You remember Sean McManus? Jay's first year, the guy they brought in from South Alabama, couldn't catch a lick, but hit the ball pretty well. But sometimes just to give Milazzo and whoever else a break, like, they let him catch. Like, you need one of those. Craig, let me get that B-Tac. No way, bro. So Les, mediocre or good coach? I feel like it's way too much negativity based on his record. You don't win that long with that much consistency if you're a bad coach. Les's problem is he just wouldn't evolve offensively. If he had just let go offensively and hired a good young coordinator, he would have won more national titles. He recruited, he hired Les Miles hired excellent staff members. Like, Les Miles hired Steve Ensminger. Les Miles hired Dave Aranda. Les Miles hired Ed Ogeron. Les Miles hired Corey Raymond. I mean, Les Miles is a good coach, man. He had one fatal flaw. He could not let go of the offense after the 2008 season. He just said, we're never losing that way again, where we turn the ball over. And so they went into a shell. And it cost him his job. Cortland's even funnier when Bama sites post the Bama's burning videos and get bent out of shape. Y'all should see my Twitter mentions for the last week. The one we did last week, whatever, did like 400,000 views on Twitter. My mentions are a total shit show. Jamie, thank you so much. Appreciate that very much. Sam LaCoy, he'll better be included. Tony, Matt, watching you do Bama is burning. Is that right? Hilarious. I love your maniacal laugh when you do the segments. One of the Bama people in my comments said he wants to be T-Bob so bad. I thought to myself, fuck, I don't even know, bro. I've been screaming like an asshole on the radio since T-Bob was in high school, bro. I have been doing bits like that on radio since 2003. Oh, man. It was before T-Bob was in high school. Oh, man. That's why I love radio, man. It's so much fun. It's theater of the mind. Like, it's supposed to be fun. That's why I listen to national shows sometimes, and it's just this mindless back and forth, point, counterpoint, break. It's like, can y'all do something fucking creative? Can y'all have fun? Just have fun. It's sports. It's supposed to be fun. Dale, wink once, nod twice. If Killen and Root will be on campus this weekend. Well, Dale. Okay, is that what I had to do? It's a big weekend for Jay Johnson. Okay, let's put it to you that way. Randall, will Jay have a good enough team to make it to Omaha next year? Yeah. I mean, this team wasn't great, and they almost made it to Omaha. I mean, you were a blown ninth inning lead away from winning a regional and hosting a super against a mediocre West Virginia team. So, yeah. Told y'all. Drink it all the time. Zachary, do you take any supplements for your beard? Mine needs help. I don't know what products to use. I don't even know what a beard supplement would be. No, that's just my beard, and I even trimmed it yesterday too, y'all. That is a freshly trimmed beard yesterday, and it's that dark and full. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I got a good beard, but I got no hair on my head, and I got hair all over my body. So, strikes and gutters, my man. Where are we? All right. Barry, what's going on? Thank you, man. Gulf South. Is Louisville shortstop looking for the most NIL he can get, or does he want to go somewhere with a chance to win a CWS? Well, here's the thing, man. Gulf South. Here's the teams. Shit, sorry. So here's the teams in the mix. Tennessee, Texas A&M, Arkansas, LSU, and Texas. If it's just NIL, like just going to the highest bidder, LSU will lose. But there's a lot. But Jay Johnson is the best recruiter in the game. He's the best recruiter in college baseball. And if he can say, take less, come here, and we'll develop you and give you a shot to be a first-round draft pick and win and play in front of 10,000 people, And look at what we did for this guy. Like, I mean, y'all heard William Schmidt on AFR. He said it is so hard to say no to Jay Johnson. Like, he makes it really hard to say no. So some guys just want a bag. Some guys look beyond that. And if Gavin Killen's looking beyond just the bag, and I'll tell you, like, they didn't break off Tommy White. They didn't break off Paul Skeens. Like, those guys didn't get an astronomical sum to sign with LSU. Like, I don't want to tell you what I was told about White, because without actually having seen the ledger, I don't want to repeat it. But suffice to say that someone within LSU's collective told me the number. And I'm just telling you, man, like, Tommy White didn't just get a bag at LSU to show up here. Anyway. Barry, need you to handicap football and baseball next year. Need to set my expectations. Barry, I think football can go 10-2. I think if you I'm getting close to how I feel on the season. I think the difference between 10-2 and 9-3 for this LSU team is the Ole Miss game. If you can get to the Ole Miss game undefeated and win it in Baton Rouge, I think you're a 10-2 team. With the chance to be even better. You know, I think you drop one along the way somewhere, and you got tough matchups, some tough road games. You know, you got to play Bama, who, in spite of my Bama's burning segments, they're going to be a good team. They're just not going to win a national championship. I don't think they win one under Caleb DeBoer. Bookmark me. Will LSU be ranked top 5 preseason football? No. Triple D, hopefully they're smart enough to get taste from the ball. Does Neil already have an FSU NIL offer on the table? I don't know that definitively. But he's from Tallahassee. I have been told in no uncertain terms that he and his representatives have had certain requests, demands, and I don't know that those are or will be met. I don't know what offer he has, but he's from Tallahassee, and it just wouldn't surprise me if he leaves. That's all. Like, I mean, Brady Neal's going into his draft year. He was injured his first year. He was part of a platoon system at catcher this year. He needs to be an everyday catcher somewhere and get 200 at bats. And so all these guys, remember, they have agents now. Remember, when you're in the NIL space, you could have an agent represent you for NIL purposes, but it's a little bit of a different game, man. So the guy earlier who said Brady Neal's 1,000% coming back, brother, like, I don't know. I mean, unless if you tell me you're Brady Neal's dad, I don't think so, bro. He could. Taylor, what's your take on the weekend rotation? Is Holler and Shores? Holler and Shores? Who's Holler? Do you think Herring gets Sunday? Who's Holler? I mean, I think Shores is your Friday guy, and I think Cade Anderson's probably your Saturday guy. Unless if Herring wins the Saturday job and Cade Anderson becomes your Sunday guy, and then Zach Cohen, the guy who they got today, could be a bit of a wild card. But if you get Zach Root from East Carolina, I think Zach Root is in your rotation 100%. In the same way that Gage Jump was going to be in your rotation this year. Brian, Gulf South Florida State dominating all portal sports looks like. Ronnie Dugas, thanks for all you do. Look for something to watch. Hope you're doing well, Ronnie. Is Buffalo Trace good? Buffalo Trace is excellent. You find a bottle of Buffalo Trace, a $25 bottle of whiskey. It's as good a bottle as you'll find for $25, man. I saw you posted thanks for watching in the comments. To a Bama fan, no doubt. I love doing that. When they crush me, they watch my video, crush me, I'll go, thanks for watching. So good. Johnny, I think Les was a great coach, would adapt offensively, no doubt. And Les was a good recruiter, man. I have talked to too many players and their families that said Les in a living room on a couch talking to a family was hard to beat. It's hard to believe, but I heard it from too many of them to think other. SVP and Russillo was the only national show with personality. Such a great combo. What's funny is that show bombed. It's weird. It worked here. It worked in college markets because they would talk college. But from a national ESPN perspective, that show didn't do well. Johnny Mango. Derek, praying for everything you do. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate that, man. Do you expect Newt to picture? Jaden Newt. I don't know. I hope so. I'd love to see him, but I don't know, man. Another guy whose career has been beset by injuries. My friend Michael, what's up, man? Tommy White, 250. No, Dale. No. The other way. Now here's the good thing for Tommy White. Tommy White legit did NIL the right way and made a lot of money because he became a fan favorite, especially after last year. I know I have had firsthand conversations with people who have held autograph signing events where Tommy White has made $50K in a day. So Tommy White legit made Cane's commercial. He legit did NIL the right way and made a lot of money. But LSU didn't hand him a big bag just to come here. That did not happen. I'm telling you, that did not happen. Is Bear Jones gone? I think 80% he signs. But that's always the question with the draft, man. You just don't know. Is a team going to pick up the phone, offer that guy $800K to $1 million, and if they do, does he take it? Because if you're Bear Jones, why do you come back? He's not coming back to become a great catcher or an outfielder. He's a first baseman and DH. That's what he is. And if you come back, you don't have Tommy White in the lineup for protection, and teams have seen you, they're going to pitch to you differently. So what if teams pitch around you and you don't get a chance to swing the bat? And so you go from hitting over 300 to 280 and from 28 homers to 20 homers. Well, what does that do to your draft stock in your draft year? So it's the decision everybody's got to make. And I just think it's hard when you are after your second year of college, if a major league team calls you and says, we're going to give you $1 million to sign and come start your pro career. How do you say, I don't want $1 million. I'm good. Patrick, what's good? Michael, pretty sure what I've heard, Michael Braswell wants to return and is likely to. He may want to return. I don't think he's going to return. I think he will be encouraged to sign if a team drafts him. That's the other big question. Does a team draft him? Adam, I'm in the 1% who fell for the Bama Stadium joke. I'm an idiot. I don't know how. How could any human think I actually think the name of the fucking stadium is Brian Dennehy, the actor who was spoofed in South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut? What would Brian Boitano do? Well, I'm Brian Dennehy. I am floored that there is actually a human being that does not get that. And now that I have to say this, it's a spoiler because now I'm recorded saying exactly what my intentions are. And so any of the Bama people who see it can clip it and put it, oh, you're just messing with us. Yes, I'm messing with you. Of course I am. I'm degrading your sacred ground. Kobe Walker. Milton Burrell, good evening. Any chance Trevor Pennick to the right side so Carr can see who's about to sack him? I needed the levity, bro. Milton, I needed the levity. Y'all call Parish, please. I'm sitting here doing this. Y'all call Parish. let me get on your roof. Roof repairs, replacements, commercial, residential. You, friend, neighbor, family member, coworker. I mean, we're pinned in the chat. If you look, just click the Parish link, fill out the form, let us come give you an inspection. Totally free. You don't even have to be home. It's totally free. You don't have to be home. Like, no, there is no catch. If we get on the roof, we spot damage, we can help you file an insurance claim. We have insurance people on staff. They'll handle the whole thing. All you have to do once your claim gets approved is pick your shingle color. We take care of everything. Michael, what I've seen, heard. Oh, sorry, read that one. Randall, Anderson couldn't get SC hitters out this year. How can he be the Saturday starter next year? Because guys are allowed to improve. And he was really good in the postseason and the SC tournament and kept getting better. So, Ronnie, MD Anderson, imminent. All right, man. Keep us posted, man. Thinking about you, praying for you, man. Taylor, what's your take on the next quarterback draft class? Saints finally going to draft the first round quarterback when DA is fired. No, because you were tethered financially to Carr for 2 more years, this year and next. So, like, you can't get rid of Derek Carr. You got to hope one of these young guys you drafted in rounds 4 and 5 pan out. And so then you have a quarterback on a rookie contract getting paid $300K, and you can afford to eat a Derek Carr contract. Got it. All right, Ronnie, keep us posted, man. Dustin Abear, strikes and gutters. Wait till you get to 54. It's a lot more gutters than strikes. I don't know about that, man. Every day gets better. Randall, SVP is the only ESPN show I watch. Him and Stanford Steve are great. They're awesome. I mean, I love both those guys, professionally and personally. Michael Roby, Root and Newt on the mound. That's going to be confusing. Adam Clark, Matt sent you a deal on Twitter about a possible segment. Just FYI, I'll check it out. Thank you. I don't always check. Just as an FYI, I don't always check DMs. I know people send me DMs a lot on Insta, on Facebook Messenger, on Twitter. I don't have notifications set. I don't have alerts set. So I don't always see DMs, just as an FYI. The best way to get me is probably text me on my show text line, email me. So few people use email anymore that if I get anything that's not spam, I'm likely to see it. Jones has some Freeman and Olsen from the right side. Pro teams will want him. Barry gonna miss the 2-2 Tommy White squat when it back. Dale, past my bedtime. All right, Dale. We'll see you, man. Have a good night. Brian, Zach Branch is fast. Didn't have the best numbers last year. Will he break out versus LSU week 1? How is their quarterback gonna look? I mean, that's a bigger question, right? The petting joke was good. It was good. Jeremy, hope Jones comes back. Me too, man. Jeremy, same with Pearson. Pearson's just not a pro prospect. That's the difference. Like, he's undersized. He doesn't have a plus tool in any of the five tools. Doesn't have plus glove, plus arm, plus speed, plus average, plus power. He doesn't have plus anything. He's just a really, really good college baseball player. The other thing too is he's a 250 career hitter. Like, that's the thing about Pearson. We love playoff Josh Pearson because he's been clutch in so many spots, but he just you got to hit better than 250. He's just a career 250 hitter. Same stuff in water. I now call it, so not Bryant, Brian Dennehy, like the actor. Will you and T-Bob be at Don Juan for whiskey and wine? Yes, we will. Come on, bro. We'll be there. You know where to find us. Except game 1 will be in Vegas. Casey, I'll call Parish, but I want Scone doing 100% of the labor to replace the roof. No, you don't. Casey, I tell people that all the time, bro. No, you don't. You don't want me. You don't want me you don't want me anywhere near your roof. You should do some of the dudes on our cruise, bro. They get these pallets of shingles, and they will throw them over, like, one big stack, another big stack like this, and then dudes run up the ladder. Like, I don't even know how they pick up one of these, let alone two, and then run up the ladder with no hands because they're holding up, and they get up and boom. I'm telling you, man, it is an incredible display of like workmanship when you see those crews like stripping a roof and putting on a new roof. You don't want me anywhere near that, bro. Yeah, Gulf South, no word from Ocho, man. I'm bummed on it too, dude. Dungeon Dojo, agree Bear Jones doesn't have any gain by coming back. Read the On3 article. Jay seemingly told Jones he could come back and prove his stock. Listen, he's got it. I mean, that's the message. That's what you try to sell him on. We'll see what he does, though, man. It's just what happens when you get that phone call. That phone call is going to go. There is a team that is going to ring that dude's number and offer him $800K to $1 million. Does he take it? That's the question. Does he take it? Who are you rooting for in the CWS? Anybody but the SEC. Give me any of the ACC teams. Remember when Arden Key ended Trevor Penning's career before it even started? Which player on the football team is breaking out? Which freshman is going to be the next household name? Breakout. Kyron Lacey. Does that count? Freshman. Who's the kid from Destrehan? Defensive player, linebacker, edge. See if one of y'all put it up. I'm gonna tell you, watching that kid in spring as an early enrollee, brother, he belonged. Kalaj Cobbins, that's it. Kalaj Cobbins, y'all. Tell you what. They got him listed at 6'1.5", 204. I don't know how that all fits. So I don't even care. I'm just telling you. Kalaj Cobbins was taking some reps like against the twos. So not against, coming off the right end, not against Will Campbell. But Kalaj Cobbins was taking reps off of dudes that are going to play and was beating them as a freshman enrollee. That dude is going to be play. I don't know if it'll happen this year, but that dude is going to play. I'm here to tell you, bro. That dude is going to play. I think Deshaun McBride has a chance to have a freshman year like Eric Reed by the end of the year, like could be starting by the end of the year. Look, there you go, Taylor. I think by the end of the year, Deshaun McBride could be starting. He just looks physically like he's already ready to be an SEC safety. Jack, you play any golf? What's your handicap? I don't get to play nearly enough, man. Love to play, but work, life, all that stuff is really taking me away from it. But I love to play. Okay. All right, y'all. I think we're done. Thanks for watching. Please smash the like button there, YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, if you can hear us, Facebook. Go ahead and follow the page and all that stuff. Y'all have a great night. Wait, hang on. Okay, a couple more. Gulf South is Harry. No. What I had a scout tell me is the max a reliever will get is $500K. So if Herring comes back to be a starter, he could go higher than that and still have his leverage. Who is the remember Ben Joyce? Ben Joyce was the relief pitcher at Tennessee who threw like 104. Ben Joyce, who threw 104, went in round 3. And they gave him $1 million. That's a dude that threw 104 miles an hour and went in round 3. Now, I gave him $1 million. Griffin Herring ain't getting $1 million. You know what I mean? Like, Love Griffin Airy. It's a great pitcher. He ain't getting what Ben Joyce got. You know what I mean? Like Ben Joyce is already in the pros. Like he's already been called up by the Angels. So that's like the top of what Herring would get. So come back and make a run at it. Potentially being a starter. Stephen Fry running back group top to bottom. Caleb Jackson, Josh Williams, 1A, 1B. I think Caden Durham and John Emery each play a role, and we'll see what happens with Trey Holly. Evans Crew is Josh Pearson's brother coming to LSU. Yeah, he'll be on campus. I've had him kind of described as like a Cade Beloso type. Just gonna love LSU. Maybe not projectable so much as a prospect. Physically kind of built the same, stocky guy, first base, DH type. But yeah, John Pearson. Googe, what's good, man? Good to see you. Where does Guidry fit into the puzzle for 2025? Same role he's been, man. He's back of the bullpen and reliever. All right, Juan. Wife gave you the green light for Vegas. I'll be there, Juan. You better come say hey, man. All right, last one. Hopefully Guidry has more consistency as your bridge to the closer. I would love to see that, Cortland. You could have a nice back of the bullpen with Guidry, with Dorsey. We'll see what else pops out of the portal. But anyway. I said it was the last one. I thought Mainieri had health issues. It wasn't a health issue. It was just his neck. He had a disc issue in his neck that always made him so uncomfortable. It was painful. And he's had multiple neck surgeries. He said he's even had multiple neck surgeries, multiple more since he retired. Like to numb all the nerves in his neck. So he doesn't even feel anything anymore. That's what he told Koki Riley anyway. So anyway. Okay. I got to go. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for being there with us. We'll see you. Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuild.com. Tell everyone you know. ParishBuild.com. All the info's down there. Parish.